up, guys? Enkiri here. Today, I want to talk to you guys about conditioning. Last week, as many of you saw, I ran a mile for the first time in literally over 10 years, and I posted a time of 5 minutes and 32 seconds. I could have gone a little bit faster, but I'll save that for another day. Now, that's nothing earth-shattering, but still, it's not too shabby for a dude who hasn't run that distance in literally a decade. So the obvious question that came up after that was, how the heck did you manage to run a 5.5 minute mile when you never do cardio? The misconception here, as pointed out by this know-it-all, is that I'm just some dumb oaf that does nothing but lift things up and then put them down. And while that's true in many ways, I'm also a dumb oaf that's figured out how to lift things up and then put them down in a way that allows me to not only continuously build muscle and strength and burn off body fat, but also build my cardiorespiratory fitness at the same time, ensuring that oxygen uptake remains efficient, my heart and lungs remain healthy, and I'm able to do things like run a 5.5 minute mile on a fucking whim. See, most people make the mistake of thinking that cardio means only one thing, and that is slow, catabolic, and boring. Whether it's on the track, in the pool, or on the elliptical, conventional wisdom states that you need to put your time in and log your miles to build cardiorespiratory efficiency. But there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you don't have to run 20 miles a week to have a strong and healthy heart and lungs. Now, there are actually several methods you can employ that will allow you to build muscle and strength while working on your cardio at the same time. Today, I'm going to focus on my favorite method, which involves using the farmer's walk while working within a progression scheme known as a density block. The method I'm going to describe to you is how I've accumulated the majority of my cardio-style work for the last several years. If done diligently, it's going to help you pack some solid muscle on your upper back and traps while aiding in hip strength and stability, as well as increasing overall total body strength, and at the same time helping you to build up a consistent, solid, and well above average base of cardiorespiratory fitness that you can then use to leapfrog yourself into pretty much any other physical endeavor of your choosing. And that's a very salient point here that I just want to touch on real quick before I describe the training method itself. This is essentially a form of base building for your cardio system. It's not going to turn you into an all-star 5K runner or an ultra marathoner because, ultimately specificity does matter. But what it will do is allow you to consistently possess and build upon a relatively high level of fitness while concurrently building muscle and strength and encouraging positive changes in body composition in the long term, which for most people watching this channel is a solid win-win situation. It'll also leave you physically prepared for pretty much any activity you should decide to partake in. So you'll never be the guy who's gassed after 2 possessions of pickup football. And at the same time, possessing this relatively high base level of fitness leaves you with the ability to basically pivot and segue into pretty much any other activity you might want to specialize in down the road, without having to start from square fucking zero like most people would. And honestly, the majority of people who go to the gym just to achieve general fitness and end up slogging away on the treadmill for 2 hours would actually be better served doing the sort of activity I'm about to describe, because not only is it going to lead to far more dramatic changes in body composition in the long run than traditional steady-state cardio will, but it also accomplishes the same goal of building cardiorespiratory fitness, which is why most people are running on the treadmill in the first place, and encourages muscle and strength gain, which is the opposite of what traditional cardio does. In the long run, I would argue that most people will be much better off, even purely from a health perspective, by making it habit to perform an activity that encourages the body to build strength, retain and build muscle, and gives their heart and lungs a very good workout, rather than making it a habit to perform an activity that chews up muscle and strength, but gives their heart and lungs a slightly better workout. Anyway, the basic gist here is to pick a moderate weight, designate a certain amount of time, and carry the weight as far as you can during the designated time period. From there, rather than increasing the weight or the time, what you do is try to gradually increase the amount of work you do with the predetermined weight during the designated time period. So for me, what I'm doing right now is I'm using 400 pounds total 200 pounds per hand on my farmer's walk implements, and I'm walking the length of my driveway, which is about 20 yards. From here, I have two choices. I can either set a stopwatch and do as many sets of 20 yards as possible in, let's say, a 15-minute time period, and then try to beat that number from week to week. Or I can pick a certain number of sets that I want to do as the cap and do those sets as fast as possible, which is actually what I'm doing at the moment. Once a week after I do my squats, I'm doing 10 20-yard carries with 200 pounds in each hand, and each week I'm striving to beat my time from the previous week. So in week 1, I did the 10 carries in 12 minutes. In week 2, I did the 10 carries in 10 minutes. In week 3, I did them in 9 minutes. Remember, this is after squatting, so my legs and hips and back are already quite fatigued at this point, which makes it far more difficult. My best ever time on this variation is 8 minutes and 11 seconds, which was done earlier this year. But the caveat is that I was 100% fresh when I did that. So now my goal is to match or beat that time while in a fatigued state. Once I accomplish that goal, then I can either increase the number of sets that I'm doing each week, or I can increase the weight slightly and start the process over. You could also increase the carry distance as a means of progression, but I don't have that luxury because my driveway is only as long as my driveway. As you can see though, there are many ways to go about this. There are many tweaks you can make to the method and many ways to progress it as well. But the main point is the primary means of progression is to increase the density of the work, either by doing the same amount of work in less time or by doing more work in the same amount of time. By necessity, this gradually creates shorter and shorter rest periods, which encourages the heart and lungs to become more and more efficient. This also makes this a very time-efficient method of improving general fitness, unlike traditional steady-state cardio, which is quite a time suck, especially as you get better at it and have no choice but to increase the miles you log. In my experience, if you just want to make slow, steady, and consistent gains, then your best bet is going to be to just include one of these density blocks once a week at the end of one of your training sessions. You'll be toast afterwards, so don't expect to do anything else when you're done with it. If you need a rapid boost in endurance for whatever reason, then you can include 2 of these blocks per week for a short period of time, no more than just a few months. But anything more than twice a week, I wouldn't recommend. It's a very high-intensity method that requires a great deal of motivation and focus to get through. And even though the overall duration is pretty short, doing this 3 times a week or more is eventually going to detract from your performance and from your ability to do your other work in the gym. So make sure you stick with 1 to 2 times a week tops. If you wanted, you could also use other forms of loaded carries to accomplish the same thing. A trap bar or frame would work well for this, as would a yoke if you had access to one. If you could rig up a way to safely carry a barbell on your shoulders for the duration of the session, that would work well also. Excuse me. Personally, when I'm doing these, I like to use straps for at least part of the session because I find that with the incomplete rest periods, I'm not able to fully challenge my lungs and my muscles if I have to wait for my grip to recover in between sets. You may find that this isn't the case for you, but it is for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't do cardio, sure, but you bet your ass I do some tough freaking conditioning work. And I think the results of that have spoken for themselves, not just in terms of body composition and strength, but also in terms of my ability to perform feats of general fitness on a whim, something that a cardio-hating guy like me isn't supposed to be able to do. So now I've armed you with the same tools that I have at my disposal, and where you go from here is totally up to you. Anyway, that's all I got for now, guys. Please be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in online coaching, be sure to shoot me an email at enkiri.elite@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to pass some more information your way. And if I don't see you guys next week, then I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.